Hedera is actually natively scalable. So we don't need a layer 2. So if you look into a transaction, if you look into speed, even if you look into the transaction fees, it's very predictable.
Yeah.
So we don't need a layer 2. So it's a native, if you see the technology itself is native, that's the beauty about Hedera, that it doesn't need a layer 2 to scale. That's the bigger advantage. Second is the governing council. It's governed by global companies. So you can still, it's not a run-of-the-mill project. Like, for example, you can, some of the chains, with due respect, I cannot name them, but they're just there, they can just shut down anytime. We never know what happens. So here you have transparency, you have governance, proper governance, way, audits, and everything is there. So you can see the reports online. You have so all the governing council, they meet once in a while. They have multiple different committees. They decide on the future of the network. So the governance is there. And also the predictable fees. So you don't fluctuate. It's based on, it's fixed to $1. So the fees are predictable.
Welcome to the Encrypted podcast, your gateway to the future of technology and innovation, right here in the heart of Dubai's dynamic tech universe. I'm your host, Maria Vovchok, and together with Dubai Blockchain Center, we are embarking on a journey that unravels the minds of tech visionaries through the digital frontiers that are shaping our world. Hello and welcome everyone to the Encrypted podcast. I'm your host, Maria Vovchok, and today we're really happy to have here Vignesh Raja, Director of Business at the HBAR Foundation for Middle East and South Asia, where he is responsible for developing the Hedera ecosystem. A passionate Web3 enthusiast with over a decade of experience working with startups and corporates in the blockchain sector, Vignesh is also a founding member of the Blockchain Council, Dubai Blockchain Council, which is a government initiative. At the HBAR Foundation, his role includes overseeing the grant program, driving market development, and fostering strategic partnerships. When he has free time, Vignesh plays games on PlayStation. Is that correct?
Yes, of course.
Vignesh, what else do you believe our audience should know about you that I haven't mentioned yet?
Yeah, I think you mentioned most of these things. And of course, I'm very passionate about blockchain and the crypto industry, been in the industry for almost 10 to 15 years. Seen it grow.
That's impressive.
Seen it grow right from the beginning in Dubai to what it is now. So it's great to be part of the ecosystem, and looking forward to contributing more to the ecosystem.
Fantastic. Actually, let's focus more specifically on Hedera ecosystem. Tell us more about the main layers of Hedera ecosystem and where HBAR Foundation fits within them.
Yeah, sure. So Hedera, as you know, is a layer 1 distributed ledger technology. And it was the brainchild of Dr. Lehman Bird, who was the inventor of the hashgraph algorithm that powers the Hedera network. And so Hedera per se has 3 key services: the Hedera token service, Hedera consensus service, and the Hedera smart contract services. So any people who want to build the apps basically use any of the services and build applications over it. So far we have, I think, more than I think we have more than 6 billion transactions that has already been live. That's been going through the Hedera mainnet. And
per second?
No, total. So number of transactions that's been done on the Hedera network. Right now we have a lot of applications that's been built across multiple sectors. So for example, we have sustainability is one of the key focus areas, fintech, payments, central bank digital currencies, decentralized finance, and we also have focus on media, entertainment, gaming. So we have multiple focus areas, and we see a lot of applications, startups, enterprises, government, so across the board, who are building innovative applications on us. And Hedera per se, so I'm part of the foundation, which is basically a non-profit grant providing entity that is focused towards enabling the ecosystem of Hedera, right? So we have multiple other companies as well. So there is the Hashgraph Association, then there is DLT Science Foundation, then we also have a company called the Hashgraph, which was called Swirls Labs. That is an engineering company that maintains the Hedera, the core, the Hedera product itself. Then they also focus on the open source tools and stuff that can help the ecosystem. So this is in broad what we are. And so, yeah, our focus has been for the past almost 2-3 years now has been deploying grants, helping in market development, helping in, I would say, start developers to basically use this wonderful technology.
Yeah, and over the last couple of years, you've been pretty active in the Middle East. So let's outline the key strategies that are driving HBAR Foundation adoption in the Middle East and South Asia.
Yeah, so our focus right from the start has been, we have multiple focus area. So, the core of any technology is developers.
Yes.
So we've started with focusing on developers. So we did a lot of
How were you attracting them?
So you do hackathons, right? You tie up with the universities, then you do some kind of events, you do some online events and stuff. Basically, you get them kind of a prize pool. So we used to work with some companies for this to create these hackathons and stuff.
Like which ones?
It's a company, I think I forgot the name. It's based in India. It's called Lumos Labs, of course. So we did an kind of a innovation program with them. Then for startups, we work with Outlier Ventures, which you might be aware of, one of the well-known players. We work with them as well. So there are multiple players based on the region, and we work with them to create the ecosystem. Right, that's what we have been doing. Then after that, what we are looking at is enterprises.
Yes.
So as you know, Hedera has been deeply focused on enterprises. So we have been focusing on enterprises. How do we, one of the issues that initially we had is enterprise had a stigma about, about the using a public blockchain because they were all focusing on the private chain like Hyperledger and stuff. But eventually, a public blockchain, I think things changed. They've been more comfortable. So we have been focused on enterprise adoption in the region. We did a use case with the DFC codes around.
DFC codes?
Yes. Oh. That was announced, I think, in GITEX.
Last year?
Yeah, before that, 2 years back. We were one of the first chains to be full production. It was announced something around transfer of wealth. And they have been very open to work with us, a government entity working with us. Along with the local partner, Deca4, we did this. And so that's a very kind of milestone project for us in the region because that opened up for us to in discussions with other enterprises and other companies as well. So that's one thing. Then apart from that, I don't know you're aware, so Hedera, the differentiation is run by the global companies, predominantly Fortune 500 companies, academics. Then we also have some Web3 companies around the network. There's Chainlink, Bitco and stuff. So I've been focusing on recruiting some of the council members. So there's a company, there's a institution called IIT Madras, which is a very large, very well reputed Indian institution. It's like the Harvard of India. So they've come on board as one of the governing council members. Then I got in Wipro, which is a technology company, which is also one of the governing council members. So that is also another job where how do you bring them on board to get them on board on the council and also help them with use cases. So that is in the other part. Like I said about developers, I said about the institutions, then I talked about recruiting governing council. Then the most important part is the retail adoption. So, any chain is all about community.
Yes.
So how do we create a community for that? So I've been focusing on, how do we bring in the retail community? So that's why, I had a very good liking for media, entertainment, sports, gaming, because that's the easiest way to get a lot of people on board. And when I say a lot of people, a lot of wallets, a lot of transactions, unique wallets and stuff, right? So this is what we have been focusing on. So, that's been my focus areas. So we have actually given some companies, a company called 1-11 based out of India. They've been one of our portfolio companies. So they're a gaming based company. Then have a couple of companies in the US. It's a company called Hyperreal. So they are into digital human creation. They're creating a fan engagement platform. That's again, they work with top celebrities, Hollywood celebrities. So that's another company that I'm working with. And then
what kind of celebrities usually?
They are top tier. So Michael Jackson.
Music. celebrities.
Anything, sports, sports, any artist. Artist can be anybody. Music, it can be a real, say, it can be Pele, for example. He's a sports celebrity. Or it can be somebody, music celebrity. So the whole initial idea these guys are doing is they are the number one of the best companies in the world creating digital humans. So they look real, but they are not real. So they can create real celebrities and they can make them look real. So for example, I am a big fan of say Pele. He's no more, but the fans want to engage with him with his digital avatar. So so they have the technology to do that, and we are creating a platform with them. It's called Hyperdream, which was announced last year. And
Hyperdream.
yeah. So basically, the fan can be closer to his idol through this platform, engage with them, quizzes and stuff. You don't have the real person. Sometimes the person is passed away. Why can't you talk to his non-real
Like virtual
virtual thing?
doppelganger.
Yes, of course. So that is one thing. And we also have something called the synthetics that's going to come. So synthetics is something that's not real. In Korea, that's very famous. In where you don't have real characters. So you have the synthetics that's been generated by AI or by human. And they also look real. And so how can you create an entire world around that? So it's a fascinating topic around it. So we just want to make sure that we focus on use cases that gives us transactions. So Karate Combat is one of our portfolio companies. As you know. So we have been with them for quite some time, and so they're also doing this event in Dubai. They did the Token 25, and also in Singapore. So again, they gives us visibility. This gives us the transactions, and we also have invested in a couple of projects right now that I think you'll see some announcement coming forward, where they're going to give us a lot of users, unique as active users, and I think that comes through only some of this consumer-based retail applications. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and actually I wanted to focus on this topic a bit more because recently you have also announced a partnership with AR Rahman, who is an Oscar-winning music composer.
Yes.
Can you please share insights on the vision behind this partnership?
Sure. So just giving a background. So Mr. Rahman is a very well-known Indian celebrity. No, I'm not saying Indian, is global now. So everybody knows him. So imagine all the 2 billion Indian in diaspora based in the US, across the globe.
So every Indian
knows him and respect him.
Amazing.
So that's how it is. Then apart from that,
Can I ask you, how did you reach out to him and how was it? Like
it's
the first
through
interaction?
A family network. I have a good network. So we reached out to him, and it happened 2 years back when I think NFTs was all new. Even our fund was new, and I don't think the foundation fund was announced. So we just went with gut feeling. So it's like, look, there's something new. Can we do something? So we always believe in first mover advantage. Can we do something new? And we came out with, I think that time the collectibles and all that was a big thing. I'm saying 2 years back.
It was only the beginning of the hype.
Beginning of the hype. So we went there, we spoke to him. See, he's also a technocrat. The beauty is he's got Oscars, Grammys, and he's got double Oscars, Grammys, and also the BAFTA. One shot, Golden Globe, and one for a movie called Slumdog Millionaire. Apart from that, he's a technocrat. He's also into VR, AR, so all the movies, he does all that shit. So that basically helped us. So for him to understand the vision about, when we pitched to him, it was very, he was very open. And you saw he was like a technocrat. He likes new things to do. And he saw the credibility of how Hedera is, because such people, just a normal run-of-the-mill crypto project, they don't get associated with. So they background verify the company as well. It's an American solid company, the good amount of council members. So he had the comfort of coming in. So initially we were like, okay, where we announced a platform called Katra. It's a collectible kind of a platform. Also, he's composed exclusive soundtrack for us, which will be released very soon. So the reason why we kept slow is because of the regulation, and we just want to make sure, because the brand is protected. Yes, it's taken time, but it will eventually happen. So now what we are doing is, then he came to me and was like, look, I just don't want to do drops and all that. So I have a reputation. He wanted to create a legacy. So he asked us and he approached us, and he's like, why don't we do something bigger? So I have this idea of creating a virtual band. and he saw what I'm doing with Hyperreal, for example. So I introduced them, and and he saw like, wow, we can do something bigger. This was something year and a half. There's no AI, anything.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, okay. He said, why don't we do a virtual brand? So then we put together our thoughts and everything. Then we thought like, there's an amazing opportunity. And coincidentally, I think we were way ahead of time. But since the chat GPTs and everything had come recently, so it all merged together. And now the way we are looking at is, so we are creating, he has already composed songs. See, this is not an Indian project, it's a international project. There are 15 songs, I think he's already composed. Now what we are doing is we have these 6 digital avatars, each one representing particular race, and not from a particular, race from a particular one representing Africa, India, Ireland, US. The idea is to give the concept of we are the world. So promote peace. The beauty about these avatars, because they're more like immortal. They can stay over time. They're like us. They can fight, so they can stay over time. The initial idea is to create these avatars. Being built right now by Hyperreal, the American company. They're building the avatars. So he's already creating the songs. Now that part is done. Now what we are trying to do is we are going to do the music videos. So we're going to bring somebody from the Hollywood to create the music videos and stuff. So that's going on.
And will this thing be happening in Dubai or in the US?
I don't know. Well, so we'll be in the US, but we don't know. We did a launch at the Museum of the Future. Is that the teaser launch?
When was it?
It was early this year, at the February.
In the Museum of the Future?
Yes, we did it at the family office event, in February. But now we are being developed further. The concepts are being developed further. Now, so we are we have started creating the backstories of each of these characters, comic books. So it's been getting done. Now we are creating the music video that's going to be done. Then, of course, the fundraising. So the company is getting set up. The fundraising is happening. Then the idea is to bring in the Web3 on the backside. So you don't need to know Web3 or no Web3. The idea is technology is always a tool. The focus is even for the end consumer, he doesn't care as long as he's able to enjoy the experience. So the content, we'll not know whether it's real or not. So the idea is to show them the content and make sure that they enjoy the experience. That's what you're looking at. So yeah, we are talking to top A1, I would say Silicon Valley based companies for taking the content and showcasing it through their devices. So we're also going to apply for some of the biggest awards in the world for the music. So it's all happening parallelly. It's taking time, but we do it properly instead of, we need to have all the things in place, right? The quality means it takes time. So we are just working on it.
Dubai, home for innovations. Talking about other partnerships, because it's actually, it's like, and you actually mentioned earlier about DECA4.
Yeah.
And this is at the core, let's say, of every strategy of every Web3 company that we know, not only Web3, but also in general. So Hedera has formed pretty impressive strategic partnerships across various industries, and including the recent collaboration with Humans AI and DECA4 to launch wrapped AI NFTs. I would like to focus on that. So how do you see these partnerships shaping the future of AI and blockchain integration, AI and this intersection, you could say so, and particularly if you focus on the Middle East and South Asia?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that. So we did this announcement, I think, last year, February. And so Humans is a Romanian-based deep tech startup. So very impressive company. They've been very advanced in the sector. So what we did along with DECA4 is we got to know them through DECA4 also. So SI partners. So we did a project, a small pilot, I would say, wherein we created kind of a tool called Clone, KLON, where so basically you can create generative AI content. This is way back before ChatGPT was there. So we can create. So you just put a prompt. And there is a video. You know what I'm saying. The avatars will blurb the prompt into a video, and you generate a video. And you basically pay for this prompt using, like now using ChatGPT, you do monthly subscription. Instead of that, you connect your MetaMask or your wallet, and you pay for it and you prompt and you basically come out with a video, and with that video you take it as NFTs. So that was the idea. We did a cool pilot. It was way back last year. So that's how it was initially, and even I mean we were all new to that.
Yeah.
So now I think things have evolved, as you know. So many things are happening. So in this sector, what we are seeing is a lot of scope, especially one is the more that the AI system, they basically rely on data, right? And data to train the models and stuff. So what I see is some of the use cases or that I look at is how blockchain can be used for the integrity and validation of these data. It comes from the right sources or the valid and stuff, checking for that. That's one part of it that we are looking at. Then I could see also now most of the LLMs are centralized, wherein we could see a decentralized way of an LLM that's, I know a couple of companies are doing it, where they're training the models on a node base and executing on multiple node level. So it becomes a decentralized way of executing the models, and instead of believing in a centralized company. So this is another thing I'm doing. I could see that, and most importantly, I could see recently where some of the companies are incentivizing people or companies, whatever you call it, is crowdsourcing of data. So the more the data is good, better the trained the models are. So how do we incentivize them? So they're using the crypto way of incentivizing the providers of data. So this is what I could see in the AI space. But of course, I'm also learning. It's fast evolving. But I could see a lot of synergies in this space.
Let's, in this case right now, focus on the tokenization of real-world assets, because it has been as well a major focus for Hedera.
Sure.
Can you please focus and tell us more about this particular strategy in this particular space?
Yeah, see, for me, real-world asset tokenization has been there for a long time. See, way back in even I think 2014, 15, I've been in this. And it's like basically fractionalization of real world assets, be it commodities, real estate, even it can be something like priced assets like your fine arts, artworks and stuff, right?
Real estate.
Yeah, anything. It can be even crazy things like football players. I know people were trying to do celebrities.
Or at least football clubs.
Football clubs, celebrities. So I in fact, we did make even before Hedera. I was, if you could see my old speech along with the Prime Minister's office, we did make an announcement around something around gold or something. I don't remember. It's way back. But again, it's a very fascinating stuff because it comes usually comes under the security tokenization space. The beauty is, so you can have normal people to come and invest the minimum for even $100.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it is owned by big guys and institutional capital. You can have crowds. It's a crowdsourced way of doing it. So very nice use case. So we have quite taken that in a serious way. We have a couple of projects that we are working with. It's a company called Red Swan. So one of my colleagues based out of Singapore has initiated that. And that is, again, they're a very large, I think, real estate firm with AUM of $5 billion. So they're doing a token studio on Hedera that's been announced. Then we have a DLA Piper, one of the biggest law firms, one of the council members. They're also doing a platform called Toko, which is again Toko, TOKO, which is around which is around asset tokenization, issuance, I think. Secondary sales as well. But I think eventually that will be the future. To be honest, I see a lot of future there in terms of security tokenization and commodities and all that. The issues has been for adoption is predominantly on the liquidity. So it's like anything to trade, you need liquidity. So it was not liquid. The assets were not liquid. So I don't know how that's going to be solved going forward. How easy it's going to be. So the way I'm looking at the future is tomorrow you can buy a coffee using your gold token or your real estate tokens. For example, you have a property in Marina. I can tokenize it. I can have, say, $100 of this property. And using the $100 in my wallet, I just go there and tap and it has a value.
Yeah, of course. But at the same time, would it be difficult, let's say, that you kind of sold small portion of your real estate for a cup of coffee, as you mentioned?
Yeah, it's not like that. See, you can just transfer of assets.
But this is about accessibility, right?
Yes, exact accessibility. So that's the beauty. It's a it's about accessibility and giving normal people to have kind of a say in this, and you have the end-to-end tracking of this. It's fully regulated. The beauty, I think, to be honest, I think the security token will be one of the biggest use case going in the future, and people were betting on it. A lot of people are betting, and still are there. So now that institutions also coming into crypto space, I think eventually this will pick up. But again, the liquidity has to be there to make it happen.
For sure. Let's talk about one of the additional very, very exciting trends that is emerging right now, which is DePIN.
Sure.
So can you please tell us about HBAR Foundation's focus on the emerging trend of DePIN? For instance, you have interesting Kwik Pik's use case of Hedera's decentralized infrastructure that highlights the potential of DePIN models in transforming logistics across Africa.
Sure.
Can you please paint some more examples? Because it's one of the very, very interesting topics for me.
Yeah, I think DePIN is a very interesting concept, and it's been there for some time. Just rewording sometimes.
Yes.
So basically, DePIN stands for the decentralized physical networks, and basically it can be anything. It can be a hardware, IoT hardware. It can be your telecom network, telecom infrastructure, anything related to that. Now there are two things to that. One is the physical infrastructure, where you have this hardware stuff, the routers and stuff, or you have the digital infrastructure where you used shared resources, for example, that is digital. So we call this DRN and I think PRN, whatever. Now, so multiple companies have started doing it. So you have Helium Network, you might be knowing Hive Mapper. So many companies have Demo and all that. From our side, we have been increasingly doing it. There's a company called Neuron that's been working with us. So they are doing something around aircraft kind of tracking. Basically, they have the sensors that has this accurate GPS kind of a tracking stuff. There's decentralized physical network that basically connects within the network, and that enables accurate kind of a mapping of drones and stuff. So that is a company that is one of the portfolio companies. Then this company that Kwik Pik is another company based out of Africa. So they connect the drivers with the customers, and to have an end-to-end tracking of that asset, which can be the package. So they have an end-to-end traceability of this, the entire stuff is what we are looking at. Apart from that, there's another company called Zeal Protocol. Will be announcing soon.
Zeal Protocol.
Zeal Protocol. They're into gaming. So they're part of one of our portfolio companies called Coin Fantasy. We'll be announcing it soon. So they are doing something like.
So can you, in this case, make official some of the announcements that will be for the first time?
So Zeal Protocol is
the Encrypted podcast.
So it's called Coin Fantasy. It's one of our portfolio companies. We'll be announcing it soon. So very exciting. So they are into gaming, and they also. What's so interesting about them is they have this. Transactions users, frequent users, they come. So basically, they're doing is an invest-only platform. It's like a fantasy gaming for investments, for crypto investments. So they have like 400K users already. I think 20 to 30K active users, and now they're bringing to the Hedera network. So very excited to see how they come on board. But why I'm saying about DePIN is they're coming out with their own protocol as well. So using that. I found it interesting is how can you use the gaming devices? How can you use those physical devices, GPUs, and to see how they can be leveraged for gaming space. So I cannot announce more, but they'll be announcing soon. So this is a very interesting place. What I'm saying is the use cases are moving just beyond this physical routers and stuff. So I see a lot of new use cases coming in. I'm also learning it. So I'm excited for this space.
Encrypted is your exclusive ticket to the epicenter of technological innovations in the MENA region. That's true. Right now, let's talk about competition, because for the last couple of years, we can see how the number of layer 2 solution is growing, like Arbitrum, Optimism, and they're gaining traction because of scalability, low fees, etc. And taking into account that this number is growing, the competition is growing, what strategies are in place to address this competition from emerging layer 2 networks?
See, competitions are everywhere, so you cannot. It's good sometimes because it gives you validation. So in terms of layer 2s, we don't see layer 2 as a competition because Hedera itself is a layer.
But the scalability grows in this case.
So Hedera is actually natively scalable. So we don't need a layer 2. So if we look into a transaction, if we look into speed, even if you look into the transaction fees, it's very predictable.
Yeah.
So we don't need a layer 2. So it's a native, if you see the technology itself is native, that's the beauty about Hedera, that it doesn't need a layer 2 to scale. That's the bigger advantage. Second is the governing council. It's governed by global companies. So you can still, it's not a run-of-the-mill project. Like, for example, you can, some of the chains, with due respect, I cannot name them, but they're just there, they can just shut down anytime. We never know what happens. So here you have transparency, you have governance, proper governance, where all the audits and everything is there. So you can see the reports online. You have so all the governing council, they meet once in a while. They have multiple different committees. They decide on the future of the network. So the governance is there. And also the predictable fees. So you don't fluctuate. It's based on, it's fixed to $1. So the fees are predictable. So me as an enterprise, as a company or a startup, I can't just write something or depend on something that's keep on fluctuating. So I need to project my cash flows, I project my financials based on that it's predictable. So that is why I think these are the key advantages, I would say, compared to existing network. But again, you just keep getting the best talents. So more the better. I always believe competition in this space, especially in a Web3, so as you know, everybody works, other chains work with each other. That's the beauty you could see. In fact, if you could see, we announced the DREC Alliance along with Cardano. So it's all about how can we have this DREC Alliance where some people lose the private key. So that can be resolved by just being an alliance between different chains. So Ripple is there, Algorand is there, Hedera is there. So it was initiated by Hedera, but along with the community of Web3 companies. So that's the beauty about Web3, in my honest opinion. We all work together and we all help each other. So I think that's the beauty about it. That's why I am also into Web3, because everybody talks to each other.
Yeah.
It's not like, full competition and all that. So the interoperability is the key. For me, that's the future.
As you mentioned also earlier, that one of your roles at HBAR Foundation is to grow the community, to grow the ecosystem.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Headstarter launched on Hedera.
Yeah.
So what impact do you foresee Headstarter having on the growth and adoption of Hedera ecosystem, taking into account that they are helping the startups, they are joining the ecosystem? Can you please tell us about?
So Headstarter is like a launchpad for us. So they do the IDOs, they do private sale, and they help a lot of other projects within the Hedera ecosystem. They've been very helpful. The CEO of the company, Tudor, is a very nice gentleman, very fully immersed in the ecosystem, very passionate. So they have launched multiple projects. I think close to $3 million, $4 million worth of IDOs. I think they have done it, and so far, and I don't know the exact number. And they had multiple participants. Their projects, 5 to 6 Hedera projects successfully launched. I think through the IDO they were able to raise some of the investments, and they're also part of some DeFi and Alliance within the network, because we also have something called Sources app, which is our own DEX. So then we have Hashport, which is the interoperability between Hedera and also the Ethereum and other chains. Then so these guys have an alliance. They basically make sure that they form a close alliance so that they help. So one of the important things is when the project comes, they have to be listed, and they have to be listed. They have to be helped on to be part of the ecosystem. And these guys play the major role in onboarding these projects initially to help them grow into the ecosystem. So they've done a phenomenal job, I would say.
You also stressed earlier that Hedera, and not during our interview, but before, has green algorithm consensus.
Yes.
So in this case, you can say that Hedera has an energy efficient model, and it is appealing for environmental, social, and governance initiative.
Sure.
So do you foresee Hedera playing a major role in carbon trading markets or in other environmental finance projects?
Exactly. If you see, we are one of the pioneers in this space. So we announced a sustainability impact fund a couple of years ago. So we were the first ones to launch among the other DLTs. Apart from being energy efficient ourselves, we have been seeing a lot of, we foresaw a lot of opportunity in this space. So it's been headed by one of the colleagues based in the US. His name is Wes. He's a thought leader in the space. So you've been very active in the COP, all the COP events. So we are fully there. One of the few chains, I think we are fully immersed. Every COP we are already there. Davos and COP events we are there. So the beauty is look. I think the way we are looking at blockchain is gives you the transparency of this energy assets, I would say. So it may be carbon accounting, biodiversity, anything to do with that. So you have end-to-end tracking of these assets. So we call it as DMRV, I think digital measurable verifiable units. So in that way, we are able to measure this properly end-to-end. And that is the beauty about blockchain and using Hedera network. To enable this, what the team has done, the fund has done, is basically created an open source tool. It's called Guardian. Guardian is, I think, one of the chains that has created open source tools specifically focused towards the sustainability side. So people can use this Guardian framework to create methodologies to enable them to track the assets, the carbon assets, end to end, right from the beginning to retirement of these assets. They can do that. So that is why I think we have been one of the futuristic. You can check online and you can see most of the important forums. We are always there, and we are also part of many of the alliances, and we have a very good substantial presence and say in these alliances as well. So a couple of projects, for example, we have a company called Dovu, which is building on Hedera. They are doing again the voluntary market carbon market platform, which is again enabling right from the beginning to the retirement of the carbon assets. So you can use Dovu, for example. Then we also have Every Denizen, a council member. They are one of the largest labeling companies, Every Denizen. So what they're doing is they're doing end-to-end tracking of assets. So carbon accounting. So basically, they have a platform called Atma.io. It's a connected cloud. So basically, for example, you have a shirt, you have all the physical things, right? So right from the beginning to the end, so you get to know how much carbon have you emitted.
Oh.
End to end through the minute part, so you get to know the tracking. So all this are leveraging. So the Guardian becomes like a guardrail. So above that, people create an application. So these are the two examples. But I saw a lot of companies already using it. As I said, carbon is one thing. It can be even energy trading. It also can be to do with recycling or circular economy, if you say. So it can be multiple different use cases. But we are very optimistic in this space.
Amazing. Vignesh, thank you so much for our interview. Right now, we're moving to the last part of our interview.
Sure.
Stay tuned with Encrypted. Rapid fire questions. So now, Vignesh, I'm going to ask you short sentences. You can also answer really shortly, and we move on. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, if you had to explain blockchain to your child, how would you do this in one sentence?
Yeah, imagine that you have a notebook where you have to write all the content and you pass this notebook between your friends. You share this notebook between your friends, and this content cannot be deleted.
Okay.
So that's how it is.
Name 5 qualities that you believe a real entrepreneur should have.
Resilience, confidence, leadership, emotion, and just need to be confident.
What would you never do while building a company?
Never get into debt.
Okay. If Hedera were a person, how would you describe its personality in one word?
Hedera is more like a sophisticated, I would say.
Sophisticated. Interesting.
Yeah, sophisticated, I would say a banker or a guy with a suit. So that's what I would explain it as.
Finish the sentence. My business philosophy is?
Yeah, business philosophy is to innovate and be positive with humility and integrity.
The next big trend to follow?
AI.
Sorry?
trend to follow is AI, artificial intelligence,
Yes.
and how it can help in, in my domain, for example, in Web3.
If you could time travel, which era would you like to visit and why?
I'm okay with this current travel. I don't think because I'm okay with what the current timeline is. I'm not sure whether I'll be okay with the future or the past, because I'm happy with the current present.
What is your personal formula for success?
It's I think it's honesty and being honest and resilient.
And Dubai for you is associated with?
With Dubai is associated with dreams. And,
Dreams coming true?
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's what I could say about Dubai.
Thank you.
Thank you much. Appreciate it.
Today we had Vignesh Raja, the Director of Business at the HBAR Foundation for Middle East and South Asia. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. From the gleaming skyscrapers of Dubai to the innovation hubs of the Middle East and beyond, Encrypted brings you thought-provoking discussions, exclusive insights, and stories of innovation that will leave you inspired.